I'm Greg Jennett in Shreveport, Louisiana, where school's back from summer and where the virus never took a break. Can all this be made COVID safe, and does it even need to be? We'll take you through how pandemic learning is working here.
New day, new start, new shoes. And a new look too.
Morning, morning.
Before backpack, bottle and lunchbox,
If you can go to breakfast or class.
there's another must-have accessory at AC Steer Elementary. Masks are in and on. No one's getting close without one.
The reason why people wear masks is so that they don't get the virus, and I just want to support that a lot.
We have to make sure that
Hannah Rogers, her sister Claire and mother Kerry have been wearing them for a while.
you're so used to seeing everybody just from the eyes up, you know.
Does anybody need help with persistence?
The difference is now they're mandatory, the ticket to escape lockdown learning.
Oh my goodness.
We get to be there with all of our friends, and we get to actually see our teachers this year, which it does help a lot academically.
They need the structure. They need to be with other students. They need the socialization, but they need to be live in person with their teacher.
Caddo Parish school classrooms are down to work and full again. Not like last year when Rolls had almost 1 in 3 logging in remotely. That marks a determination to get back to normal in a city that's anything but. COVID's Delta variant's running up some big numbers in Shreveport. 20% positive test results for around 400 cases a day, and children are among those taking the hit. Around here, vaccination's nothing to cheer about either. Rates are only just above 40% on average and as low as 17% in parts. But in the land of the free, mask mandates are an affront to many.
Here in America, we're not forced to give freedoms away. We're not forced to give freedoms away, and that's what I think the mandates are doing.
Nobody has to wear a mask.
LORNA Gonzales is a junior at Captain Shreve High School.
If we have a mask on, they don't say anything, even if it's not covering your nose or your mouth.
At 16, she complies with the mandate, if only because she couldn't stand the alternative.
Last year, it was really hard to learn anything just because being on Zoom, the teachers didn't really get to answer your questions. This year so far, we've had a lot of work, so the idea of going back to being at home and having to do it, I feel like it's going to be really hard.
Her dad's no fan of home learning either, or of vaccines, just consistency and liberty.
We should never be mandated to do something like this. But the science does show that if you are in good health, that you have a 99% chance to overcome COVID and go on with your life.
We're the worst in the country in terms of this COVID surge, and that is because of the Delta variant. Not enough people have been vaccinated here in Louisiana.
The statewide mask mandates met active resistance ever since the governor ordered it.
The governor mandated to put this on my kid's face for 7 hours a day. It's child abuse. It's not right.
It applies to kids from kindergarten all the way through to grade 12, and it came on the strongest of medical advice. Nationally,
we've got to cut down the community spread. You can protect children who can't get vaccinated because of their age yet.
And locally.
We're seeing younger children and particularly adolescents come up in terms of the highest rates per 100,000 population right now.
Joe Bocchini is Northern Louisiana's top infectious diseases paediatrician. He's advised Caddo Parish schools on the full suite of protocols they'll need to drag down rampant transmission.
I know that children tolerate wearing masks very well. There's no real complications of wearing a mask. They're safe, they're very effective. And so by following these protocols, not only are we helping children stay in the classroom, we're preventing them from bringing an infection home.
Early signs from falling hospital admissions hint at some success, but still, a lot of virus has to be killed.
My suspicion is, with winter months coming, that we will be wearing masks for the entire school year.
Which makes COVID-safe diligence even more important for parents and teachers.
I still go over and above, and I stay after school for as long as I need to make sure that my class is sanitized and safe for my students.
Jatara Shaw is both a first grade teacher and mum to Addison.
I prefer my students to be in front of me so that I can have that one-on-one time with them. Same with her. I want her here with me. I want her to be in-person learning as well. And I find that she's already responding very well to being back at school.
The Shaws did it tough last year. Jatara kept teaching at Caddo's University Elementary, but decided it'd be safer for the family if her little helper stayed home.
I prefer being here because I know I dropped in my learning and I enjoy being back here with all my friends.
And as for that facial covering?
I've worn it for a while now, and I think that honestly, sometimes when I take it off, I feel like I'm still wearing it, so I'm getting used to it.
Although controversial in these parts, getting kids out of the education lab that is remote learning and keeping them here in the classroom doesn't rely on masks alone. In fact, they're just the last line of defence. Across the board, school rules are being rewritten too. So here's how they work. There's a no visitors policy, which is why we're here and they're not. Cleaning and disinfecting become routine business. And for most of the time, where it can be managed, students tend to stay in their group of 25 students or so, even in the playground.
If infections or close contacts do come through, kids will have to quarantine again.
We must get those students back in school.
As architect, advocate and monitor of the entire regime, no one's put more on the line than Caddo's Superintendent Lamar Gorey to make sure this year works out.
Of course, when you're in a community of 200,000 people, politics does come into play. I do think that's why it's important that we have trusted the science and not the political arm of this conversation. By us trusting the science, we've been able to implement something that people publicly, you can fight, you can buck against it, but you're absolutely not going to win.
When all the health data is put aside, what is measuring most is the study of happy, prosperous kids.
If we're going to truly say that we're going to teach every child to be equipped to chase their wildest dream, our data clearly shows the in-person learners benefited from being in school.
There are 37,000 futures on the line here, and if learning, not lockdowns, do pull through as powerfully as planned, this place just might prove the little COVID-struck city that could. Greg Jennett, ABC News, Shreveport, Louisiana.